I guess Fisher Mackesy at pick 6. Are you happy with him, and can you tell us a little bit about him as a player?
Absolutely, absolutely happy. We always knew he was probably going to be one of our players when we did the trade. So to get Fisher and a pick next year is a fantastic result. He's a player, you know, our record with picking talls and tall defenders particularly has been pretty good, not pumping our own tyres up, but it's been okay. So he's just so competitive in the air, and that's his core function in a team, is to either mark it forward or stop him from marking it back or take marks, and he stops the ball. In the Nationals, he took some fantastic marks protecting other defenders. He'll come off his man, and really pleasingly and somewhat rare for a tall player is that he sets up a lot of play with his kick from defence. He's a really good decision maker, so he's going to add a lot to us.
I heard he won the Big Metro MVP over
he did.
number 1 and 2 picks.
He did, and he deserved it, so that's a really good feather in his cap. He's been with some good players, and he's the leader at school, at Caulfield Grammar. He's the captain. He's the bloke they kick the ball to. He goes in the midfield when they need him to. He goes in the ruck if they need him to. He goes behind the ball as a 7th, so he's really well rounded. He knows his game well. He's a highly intelligent young man with great character, so he'll help other players be better, and our talls at the club will help him be better, so it's good.
Is he projected to be a defender, forward, or too early to tell?
Well, I think the really good thing is he can play both, and because he's really smart, he'll be able to learn both ends of the ground. So I think he probably starts as a defender, but what a weapon to be able to go forward halfway through a game. So hopefully he gets a chance to do that as well.
And can you see him sort of pushing for that senior selection next year, ready to go? Or?
I think so. You don't ever want to put any limitations, and on a high achiever like Fish, you certainly don't want to do that. So it's hard for the young kids to play on the bigs, but he could probably play as a 3rd as well. So let's see how he goes. He's going to get bigger quick, but he's got a good frame already. He's not like a skinny 18-year-old, so he can develop pretty quickly, I reckon.
What's your overall thoughts on the first round of the draft as a whole? Surprises?
It was interesting. There was a lot of stuff that happened behind closed doors that people will never know about. There was some tries at some different things to go up and back, so we're open to it. We're in a really good position, holding 2 really good picks, and hopefully some other clubs might come for those, or we'll just take the 2 picks because there's some really good players still left.
It's late on a Wednesday night, but I believe the calls are coming through and the work's still going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, well, the boys are pretty much in the room straight after the draft working out the opportunities. We've had some phone calls with some clubs already, so it's going to be really interesting. Today was pretty straightforward. Tomorrow's going to be really helter-skelter, I reckon.
And how are you feeling about that hand at the moment? I think it's 24, 25, 39 and 46. Do you expect to take those picks or potentially split them out?
No, well, we're open to anything, and it is possible, but it's just really nice to hold 2 picks of sort of the first 4 or 5 possibly. So we've got a rough idea where we're going. Some players on the board that are left from tonight that we thought might have gone in the first round still there, so that's a really good sign, and then it gives us a chance now with a tall that can play forward and back to balance our draft off pretty well.
So does that mean we're sort of looking at targeting some midfielders tomorrow?
Yeah, I think we go the mids and some mid utilities, and we've probably still got room for another tall if there's one there we really like. So 2 talls and 3 sort of mid utilities was going to be a good balance, so that's a possibility.
It's a later start tomorrow at 7 p.m. What's the process tomorrow? I think early start and get straight into it?
Yeah, we'll have some meetings in the morning, and then we'll start talking to some clubs. So we can trade from 4 o'clock, but those deals won't come out until the actual event starts tomorrow night. So it could be a really busy day.
Any sort of insights into potential names that are in the mix and those sort of early picks, or is it there?
Well, it'll be the names that people are talking about. It's a bit like what I said about at pick 4 or 6. It's the same sort of names. So there's some pretty good players left on the board. I don't want to go into too many of who they are, but our supporters are pretty smart. They'll have worked out who's available, and a fair few of the good South Australians are still there, so we'll see how we go.